Claude Design has been getting people's attention lately with all its cool capabilities, and in this video, I'll break down everything you need to know about Claude Design in just a few minutes by explaining what it is and doing some simple case studies. So, what's Claude Design? In a nutshell, it's an AI tool that lets you create designs for things like landing pages, dashboards, slide presentations, diagrams, and even app interfaces that are both interactive and usable, all without writing a single line of code. You just type in what you want, and Claude will do all the work. To get started, as of this recording, Claude Design is still in an experimental phase and may not be available through your desktop or mobile app. So you can get to it by either signing into Claude and click on this palette icon, or going to claude.ai/design. When you open Claude Design, over here on the left, you can see the types of designs you can create. Let's start off with a prototype, which is just a fancy way to say you want to create a visual mock-up of a design. And that can either be a wireframe, think basic sketch, or high fidelity, which is a more realistic version of your finished product. We'll see that one in action later. For now, let's look at our first case study, which is the slide deck, which is pretty much just like you would guess. Claude will build you a PowerPoint presentation or a presentation deck based off the prompt you type. For example, let's say we want to create a presentation for a local coffee shop. So let's give this presentation a name and click Create. All right, if we start over here on the lower left, if you click on the gear icon, you can choose the model you want to use. You can also click on the plus sign to upload image references, or you can upload documents that you want Claude to use in building your presentation. And yes, you can even talk directly to Claude if you want. As a really cool side note, you can use Claude to create designs that are built around your brand, including your brand colors, logos, and so on. Yet for today, let's type a prompt like this. Create an animated slide deck about a soft launch strategy for a local coffee shop. Go ahead and submit it and let Claude work its magic. Now, what's pretty cool is before Claude builds anything, it's going to ask you some clarifying questions like how many slides, what tone do you want, what's the main goal of your deck. You can answer these questions for yourself, or you can just say decide for me, and Claude will take care of that as well. So here's the finished slide deck, and it did take a little while, so be prepared for that one. And if we cruise through the deck, you can see overall Claude did do a good job. But that brings us to editing, because you may not like how your slide deck looks, and there are a few ways you can edit things. One way is to use tweaks, which will let you make more of a global change to your presentation. In this case, the color scheme being used. You can also click on the Edit button, which lets you click on any item of your slide, and you can make your changes directly. For example, change the text, font size, the font type, colors, and so on. This comment feature lets you make specific changes within your deck. For example, click on any item on your slide, then click Comments, and you can type in the change that you want. You can even make direct edits if you want just by clicking and typing. This drawing option lets you draw or annotate your changes directly on the slide. For example, you might want to add an image here. Once you're done making the changes to your presentation, you can click on the Share button and export it as a PowerPoint presentation, zip file, HTML, send it to Canva or to Claude Code. Now, the big takeaway is this editing process applies to all the various designs you create. Moving on. Next up is creating prototypes, and this is where things get a little more powerful. For example, with prototypes, you can build things like web pages, landing pages, mobile app screens, dashboards, data visualizations, portfolio sites, and so on. For our purposes, let's say we want to build a homepage for our website. We'll start by clicking on Prototype, and then we'll give it a name. For today, let's go with high fidelity, just to make things more realistic. Let's click Create, and Claude will take you to the design workspace. Over here, you can add some items like Design Systems, which is probably one of the most underutilized tools in Claude Design, and we'll explain how that works in the next section. You can also add screenshots that Claude can use as a reference, and use the code base, which is the programming code behind, say, an app or website. You can even drag in a Figma file, which is a popular app used to create user interfaces for things like websites, mobile apps, and digital products. All these are optional, so it's your call. For now, let's type in a prompt like, build a home page for a local coffee shop, include a navigation, hero section, features, pricing, and a footer. Let's go ahead, submit this, and yes, Claude did create our homepage for us. From this point, you can make your edits just like we showed you on the slide deck in the previous section, so there's no need to rehash that again. Moving on, in the upper right-hand corner, we can export this as well. But this brings us to one of Claude Design's biggest box office draws, which is Design Systems. Think of Design Systems as being Command Central. It's the one place where you can set all of your brand rules, your colors, fonts, button styles, spacing, And once you set up the design system, everything you build after that will automatically follow those rules. Put another way, instead of Claude making the design choices, you can have Claude use your branding instead. It's really just a matter of uploading all your assets and letting Claude know all the specific details. You can also upload a Figma file if you want, because Claude does have native integration built into it. Once that design system's built, you connect to it every time you start a new project. From that point on, Claude knows your brand and builds everything around it. Next up is templates, and this section lets you build templates that you can share out to your team. Another area to check out is this examples section, because Claude offers some examples or ready-made prompts that you can work with. If none of those work, that's what this other section is for. Anything that doesn't fit into a design category, if you can describe it, Claude will build it. Now, a few important things worth knowing, starting with token usage. Claude Design will burn through tokens a lot faster than regular Claude, and you'll hit that limit really quick. So start small. Build a slide deck or a simple homepage first, just to get an idea of how everything works. You can then scale up to larger projects. Also, Claude Design is part of the paid plan. You'll need a pro plan or higher to get access to it. And that's Claude Design. Quick and easy. So the question on the floor, do you like Claude Design? Do you think it can replace working with Figma or Adobe? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'd like to know. And now here's another way you can create professional dashboards using regular Claude in just a few minutes.